If you head across to the Northamptonshire-Bedfordshire border, you can go and take part and see something rather special called Digging for Victory. It's an exhibition which has come out of London, and it's now at the Cowper and Newton Museum in Olney. On the phone to talk about it is the house manager for the Cowper and Newton, Amanda Pickard. Amanda, good afternoon.
Hello.
Kick off by telling us what a house manager is, please.
Basically, I coordinate the running of the museum and really focus on the visitors and their experience they have here.
So it's kind of theatrical. It's front of house manager.
Yes, it is really, yeah.
Wonderful. How did you get into this in the first place?
I've always loved history, and I spent a little bit of time working for the National Trust over at Stowe, and then decided it's a lovely role just doing the whole thing, keeping the whole museum running.
And keeping history alive. There's lots of people, I suppose, don't particularly like history when they're at school because it's something that they're, well, almost forced into by the curriculum.
Yeah.
Curriculum even. But when they actually then move away from school, history suddenly becomes a far more relevant and an accessible topic. And I suppose you're really bringing that to people through the summer with this Digging for Victory exhibition, which you've had for a little while now.
We have had, yes. It came to us at the beginning of March, and we had a few events around it at the beginning of the year. But now the allotment's really come into its own. There's masses growing down in the wartime allotment, and we've just had our Anderson shelter completely installed now. So
Dig for Victory is a very well-known phrase in terms of 20th century history and the Second World War. Digging for Victory. Tell us what people can see at Cowper and Newton. You've kind of slightly given the game away by talking about wartime allotments, but tell us what people can see when they arrive.
Sure. We have the outdoor exhibition that the Royal Parks ran, which is lots of really interesting boards explaining how you dug for victory and how it's relevant to today. So how to grow your vegetables, when to cultivate them, how to make your own compost heaps and sort of make your own sustainable vegetable garden. And we've got a wartime allotment alongside a modern allotment, so you can see the differences in the things they grew.
Who's doing all the digging then?
One of our volunteers who just loves gardening and doing his vegetable allotment.
You can't get him off the area now, can you?
No, he's got another allotment plus his garden, and he just loves it.
Good heavens! So he's got not one but two allotments at the Cowper and Newton, plus his own garden.
Yes, yeah.
The man must be absolutely indefatigable.
He does, and he still finds time to ring the church bells as well.
Quite astonishing. How have allotments therefore changed in your perspective? Do you have an allotment at home? Have you ever done anything like this in reality?
We had our own victory garden, as we called it, in our back garden, but we just couldn't give it the time we thought that you needed to give them. But it shows you here that the difference is the varieties that you can grow now. I mean, we grow a lot more modern varieties, things that come in from China, like Chinese lettuces and all sorts of overseas varieties, whereas the wartime ones were really seeds that came from things we already had in the country. Some of them were shipped over from America as seeds. And grown into your gardens here as well.
So what would you have? Sort of staple diet stuff? Potatoes?
We've got potatoes,
cabbages,
lettuces, tomatoes, peas, broad beans. I think he's got a variety of sweet corn that came over from America when they sent some things over to us.
So this is very much a living exhibition then. Is it
definitely.
Is it modern techniques in the modern allotment and 1940s techniques in the Second World War allotment?
Yes, definitely. He's got his own little sort of green glass houses over his seedlings to protect them. So it's all done as it would have been done in the wartime. And he read Mr. Middleton's gardening book, and Mr. Middleton was the sort of gardening expert of the wartime years. So he's researched the seeds to make sure they were all either in existence or were created, like the Victory tomato, and we've got the Home Guard potato as well.
How did you get this exhibition from the Royal Parks? Because I understand that it came from the Royal Parks. It's not going anywhere other than to you. It's not out on tour around the UK. It's
not. No, I was very fortunate, and I did some work with the Cabinet War Rooms and knew that they were going to finish this exhibition, because you're only allowed to have it in St James's Park for so many years, because you obviously have to get permission from the Queen. And they decided to take it on themselves and develop it more to do with sort of the gardening element. So the exhibition had become redundant. So I sort of stuck my oar in and said, do you mind if we have it for our museum? And they said, absolutely, here you go.
That's tremendous stuff. I know I know the Tutankhamun exhibition is in Dorchester, down in Dorset. You've really ticked the boxes by bringing modern day history to the Cowper and Newton. What do people say when they come to see the exhibition? Because I would imagine that there's a generational thing. There'll be a generation that can remember it because their mum or their dad did the digging and the digging for victory. There might even be a few people who had allotments in wartime themselves.
Yeah.
What sort of observations are they making?
It's really when they come and see how lovely the allotment looks. I mean, it's just at this time of year, it's just full of growth and things really coming on from when they'd seen them when we launched the exhibition in May. And it's just, I think they're astounded with what you can do and what you can grow in your own back garden. And really, it's not as hard as it sounds.
Okay, fine. I'll take your word for that. You're not digging this one, are you?
No, I'm not. I just go along and eat some of the produce now and again.
That was going to be my next question. I mean, with all this produce coming out of a museum exhibition, who's taking advantage of that? And are you following things through into the sort of cookery and the sort of recipe that a wartime family might have expected to have from a Digging for Victory, a wartime allotment?
I wish we had the kitchens and the facilities to do it, otherwise we definitely would. Excuse me. The visitors that come on a daily basis, when we pick some of the fruit and vegetables, we sell them through our shop, so you can come and buy things that have actually been grown here. And some of it goes on to the local farmers market, or they keep themselves. But we have actually, if I can plug our Wartime Harvest Festival we're having.
Please do.
On September the 12th and 13th. So we're going to have a traditional Wartime Harvest Festival. We'll be digging up the produce, selling them, having some original and modern-day land girls here. Some home guard with lots of sort of celebration and fun and displays and scenarios. So.
Which means that clearly you're going to carry this on until September. How long will the Digging for Victory exhibition be available?
It will run until we close, which is December the 23rd.
By which stage there'll be an awful lot of produce that's gone through.
Yes.
Are you keeping a tally of which allotment is actually producing the most produce to compare modern-day techniques with olden-day techniques?
We're not, but you can see from just the difference of the two how differently they're growing, in the sense that it's an organic vegetable garden anyway, because we're part of the organic garden scheme.
Are you talking about horses by any chance?
Yeah, no. I'm sure a bit of that goes on. But they just look quite different from each other as well, with just some of the varieties that are grown. And we've got some wonderful flowers alongside the allotment because of trying to get the insects along that will help to fight the bugs off the vegetables.
Yes, of course.
So it's really quite interesting how it all fits together.
And of course there's a direct parallel now that we thank God we haven't got a world war on, but we have a recession, a worldwide recession, which is affecting people's pockets and obviously what is available. Again, what sort of observations do people make given the environment that we now live in? And you know, times are tight. People are having to tighten their belts. People are starting to use back gardens, and what would have been a flower bed has now been turned into a vegetable patch.
Yeah.
What sort of things are people saying when they come into the Cowper and Newton and see what they see?
They really are inspired to give it a go themselves, just by seeing how fantastic it looks. It does really inspire people to say, oh, I must make a start of it, and I will go home and do it if I can achieve this. People are also saying that we can't get allotments because there's such a long waiting list now, which shows you the increase of uptake.
Yes.
And more people are inspired to do it. And when they see the internal exhibition we've got on Make, Do and Mend, which is, about making things last and repairing things and, making use of what you have.
Yep.
That you hear lots and lots of conversations of people saying, oh, we're so frivolous and we shouldn't throw things away, and aren't we so very wasteful? So I think it's a good reminder to people that there's no need to sort of want the latest things and to throw things away all the time, and you really can reuse things over and over again. So it's not only a lesson about the past, but it's also, dare I say it, a lesson for the future too. Yes, yeah, and people do feel that from the exhibition. They are reminded that how very different things were, and we survived, and we came out the other end, and people didn't really feel they went without things, is one of the comments. Fantastic. Amanda, the exhibition is with you until the end of the year, until December, at the Cowper and Newton. Where do people find you in Olney? We're in the marketplace, so we're just in the corner of the marketplace.
Very easy to find there.
Yes, definitely, yeah. And we have the Wartime Harvest Festival on September the 12th and 13th, and if people are free throughout August, we've got lots of craft activities, including make, do and mend.
Nice plug, well done. And clearly there's a website that people can find out more for as well.
There is, yeah. It's www.cooperandnewtonmuseum.org.uk.
Amanda Pickard, who's the house manager for the Cooper and Newton, thanks for coming on, and all the best with your shallots.
Lovely, thank you.